You've heard it everywhere. Your employer must give you 3 warning letters before terminating your appointment. But is that true? Is that what the law says? Section 36 of 1999 Constitution as amended allows for fair hearing. In fact, it is constitutionally wrong to not give an employee the opportunity to be heard. In section 254 subsection C, the NICN has been given full jurisdiction to rule on employment matters, which has also allowed or given more room for international best practices to be used in NICN cases. What I mean by NICN cases is employment cases handled by the NICN. And because international best practices allows or guarantees a process of discipline, which could be verbal warning, written query, and then a written warning, and another written warning, and another written warning before a termination. But does that actually mean that the Constitution outrightly mandates an organization to give you 3 warning letters before termination? No. And I'm not saying an organization should not give you 3 warning letters before terminating your appointment. I'm only saying it depends. Now let's break it down. For gross misconduct and a lot of other misconducts, you would not have the privilege as an employee to have 3 warning letters before termination. In fact, you might not even have the opportunity to have 1 warning letter before termination. Why? Because these offenses, this gross misconduct, which could be gross insubordination, fraud, theft, and all of that, it could be the deal breaker for that organization. Of course, the principle of fair hearing ought to apply, but once you're found guilty, you may not be given the opportunity to even have 1 warning letter before a termination. The panel can just be set for inquiries, and once the panel finds you guilty, you could be terminated immediately. Many organizations have interpreted fair hearing to mean 3 warning letters before termination. Yes, fair hearing, the concept of fair hearing involves giving the staff the opportunity to defend themselves in the event of any allegations. In other cases, you could have the privilege of having warning letters before a termination, which is best practice. However, it is not mandated on the organization. Why should the organization execute warning letters before termination, and when does this apply? This could apply for minor offenses such as lateness to work. The reason the employer is expected or advised to give these warnings and all of that is so that it can show that they have accommodated excesses of the staff. When the staff goes against company policy regularly and you keep warning the person first time, second time, third time, even if that case goes to court, the court will understand that you've given enough room for the staff to change, and the staff refuse to change. Now, that is one reason it is a HR best practice, or it is advisable that organizations abide by that rule. It is not in the Constitution, it is not mandated in the Nigerian labor law. However, for public servants, it is actually written in their framework of their compliance handbook. Yeah, there's a constitution that governs public servants, and it is written there expressly that you must follow a particular process. And I think there's also one document binding oil and gas that they must follow a particular process, a particular disciplinary process. Although it also doesn't expressly states that you must give 3 warning letters. It only states there that a panel must be set up, and there would be a panel of inquiry. A panel will be set up to inquire into the problem and all of that, so that there can be fair hearing. I use the word termination all through this video for a reason. A lot of HR practitioners interchange termination for summary dismissal. Termination and summary dismissals are not the same thing. Termination allows for an employer to give you a notice period or salary in lieu of termination. However, in the case of a summary dismissal, you do not have the privilege of a notice period or a salary in lieu of notice or other future benefits. However, they ought to pay you till the last day of work. Your organization owes you fair hearing. Your organization does not necessarily owe you 3 warning letters. They owe you fair hearing. Do not mistake both of them. They are 2 different things. And another take home, do not mistake termination for summary dismissal. They are also 2 different things. If you need content like this, please follow up as we dissect such myths and open doors to much more bigger arguments in the workplace. Thank you very much. Oh, you can also send me your story. From next week or the next video, we'll be addressing a staff story. Her name is Vera, and Vera has a very, very pathetic case to share with all of us. It is something that has touched my heart. It is something relating to what I just said, but in a different perspective. Vera will be online to hear your opinions, and I'll be here to share the story and my perspective on things. Thank you.